Jeremy here with the Eaton Rapids Area District Library, and in this video we're going to be talking about installing software. We're going to cover multiple platforms, so check the timestamps in the description, whether that's Linux, Windows, macOS, or Android. We're going to be covering all of them, so stay tuned and we'll have something for pretty much everybody. All right, let's start with Windows. There are multiple ways that you can install software in Windows. One of the oldest is doing things manually. And so in this case, you would go out to a website. We'll open up Google Chrome here. We will look for Raven Reader, which is an RSS reader. We will head over to the Raven Reader app site and click download. We want Windows. And in this case, you download the software, you run the executable file, and it installs your program, as we will see here momentarily. All right, Raven Reader has finished downloading, so we can click the up arrow and say open. A lot of times you'll get this message, Windows protected your PC. This is because you're not installing from the Windows App Store, which we'll look at in a moment. So to get around this, you go to More Info and click Run Anyway. And then you follow the prompts from the installer to get this installed. Say yes when prompted for user account control. And it will finish installing momentarily. And then optionally click the Run Raven Reader checkbox. It's checked by default, and click Finish. And so we've got Raven Reader. Okay, the second option for installing software on Windows is the Windows App Store. Or the Microsoft Store, rather. And if you open up the store, you've got different categories. Gaming, entertainment, productivity, and deals. Now, there are pros and cons of installing software from the Windows Store. The pro is that automatic updates are going to kick in and there is less maintenance for you to have to do manually. The downside is that a lot of these items in the Microsoft Store have a price tag attached, even things that would otherwise be freely available. Raven Reader had a $4.99 price tag attached to it, whereas I just successfully downloaded it for free. Okay, so again, you select an item, and let's just come down here, click on an item, it loads up, you click buy, you may or may not have to supply payment information, and the software gets installed for you. I am not going to install this at this point in time. Okay, so the third option for installing software on Windows is using what's called a package manager. Now, package managers originate in large part on Linux. And if you've never used Linux, it's an alternative to Windows. So for this case, we're going to go to our PowerShell as administrator. And we are going to say Choco list. And this is going to spit back a list of all the different pieces of software that you can install using this package manager. All right, so we've got quite a list here of things that we can install. To install this, we're going to say Choco install make mkv. We're going to say -y, hit enter, and this is going to download and install the program for us. And as you can see, it does things a little bit faster than having to go through the web browser. And it will actually notify you, in this case, if there was a problem. And in this case, there was. Let's list out the software that is available through Chocolatey. This is a pretty big list, so it'll take just a moment or two. All right, so we've got a list of software we can install, and this is paused at the end of the first screen of information. And I'm just looking to see what we might be able to install that should work for us. And let's see if there's something easy and simple here. Okay, so I've never used this before, but let's try Hobocopy. Choco install Hobocopy -y, so it doesn't prompt us. It looks like this might be going a little bit better. All right, so it was that simple. Hobocopy. And that is actually going to be a command line program, or utility, as many of them are called. So again, this may not be for the faint of heart. There is, however, an easier way to do this for people that are not familiar or comfortable with the command line. And so there is a graphical interface for this. Let's see. Choco install Chocolatey GUI, I believe it is. Say yes to that. I wasn't completely sure if I had the name of it correct, but let's take a look at this. We'll go back to our start menu. And now we've got Chocolatey GUI. And so now, here's a much easier way to install Chocolatey. And so if we continue down our list, I'm sure we can find something here that we might want to install. So this is showing what's installed on the computer. And if we go to Chocolatey, on the left hand side here, we can see all the available software and choose something from the list. So we might move on to the next page. And again, we can try to find something that we might be interested in. Of course, it's going to show with a little green banner here if we've already got it installed. And there are several things that we do already have installed. So we'll continue on to page 3. And maybe we want to install Sublime Text 3. So if you right click on it, you can get details. And if you like what you see, all you had to do is click install. And it's going through the same process that it would have done at the command line. And this time it's just doing it all for you in a nice looking interface. So if we go ahead and minimize this, go back to our start menu, we should see here Sublime Text 3, which is a text editor generally used by programmers. So that is an overview of the 3 different ways that you can install software on Windows. So hang tight, and I'm going to switch over to the Mac. Alrighty, so here we are on the Mac, and if we go to our Apple menu, right here is our App Store. And you get a few more options for categories on the left side, and the categories option brings up even more. So, for instance, if we wanted to look at utilities, there are all kinds of things over here that we could grab from the App Store. And again, a price is listed, you select the item, and then if you want to buy it, you click the install button and go from there. Along with the App Store, you can still do things similar to the way you did on Windows. You can download a file, typically with a DMG extension, and run that to have an installer and get your software installed that way. And of course, like Chocolatey on Windows, the Mac has a package manager called Homebrew. So if we say brew list, it should come back with a list of software. And many of these are things that I already have installed on this machine. Now, just to be clear, Homebrew does not come by default with macOS when you buy a Mac. Homebrew is an extra piece of software that you have to install separately. But once it's installed, it works very much like any package manager on any other system, whether that be Chocolatey on Windows or apt on Linux or package PKG on FreeBSD or what have you. That pretty much covers our Mac system. I'll minimize this and give me one moment and I'll switch over to Linux. All right, so we're over on my Linux system. We'll get logged in. And as you can see, I've got a couple things open here. And again, like other systems, Ubuntu has a software store. The unique thing about the Ubuntu software store is that nearly every piece of software in this store is available for free. Again, you've got categories, you've got some editors picked. You can see what's installed already. You can see if there are updates, and this is reporting that everything is up to date. And if we wanted to install something, we could go into a category. We'll go into finance. And we've got a list of different options in here of things that we can install. Again, like other app stores that we've looked at, if you click on an item, it'll bring you up a description. A lot of times there are screenshots so you can see what is happening in the app. And if you like what you see, you can click the install button. This is going to ask you for a password. And just like that, here momentarily, this software will be installed and ready for us to use. Don't you just love it when it gets stuck on 99%? Okay, so if we come down to the application menu, we can go to the second screen of applications, and here we've got Simple Budget, which was our selected app. And it brings it right up and gives us an error message. Great. That's always a little disappointing. But anyways, you can see that it's pretty easy to get a piece of software installed. Again, we'll exit out of that. And you can also install software from the command line just by typing sudo apt install and then the name of the program. -Y again is so it won't prompt us. And that does not actually have a package. No app package. So there is a variation, which is snap. And it's pretty much the same format, except it doesn't like the -Y. It will download that and install it for us. And then we can go ahead and run it. Once this finishes connecting all the pieces. All right, so we say which make MKV. It tells us where the file is located. We just say make MKV by itself. The purpose of this is to let you take an optical disc, such as a DVD or a Blu-ray disc, and convert it into a file that can be used on your computer. And the format it stores it in is the MKV or Matroska format. So this is a very useful program if you want to have video stored on your home network instead of relying on an online service. So if you've got a collection of DVDs and Blu-rays, this can be a great thing if you have someplace to store the files. And you know, it does come in very handy when you are without an internet connection for whatever reason. So take that for what you will. And that is pretty much going to sum up our look at installing software on Linux. So give me just a moment. We will get out of this and we can jump on Android real quick. All right, so here we are connected to my phone, and Android, like most other platforms these days, uses an app store called the Play Store. So if we open that up, again, you've got different options. Down on the bottom, it's got games, apps, movies, and TV, and books. And then on the top, it's got some options as well. And so, like other systems, you scroll through the options you've got here until you find something that you're interested in. So let's go for Amazon Shopper Panel. This is from Amazon Mobile LLC. We'll go ahead and install that. and then we can open it. Haven't used this before, not sure what it does. There we go. Join the panel and earn rewards. Continue. Decide what you share. Continue. Get started. And then you just continue through the setup. And you've got another app installed. So that brings us to the end of installing apps on Android. Alright, so in this video we have looked at different ways of installing software on Linux, macOS, Windows, and Android. They are all very similar when you break it down into steps. I hope you found this video useful. If you have questions that have not been answered about installing software in this video, please head down to the comment section and leave some feedback. While you're down there, why don't you take a moment to like and subscribe to the library YouTube channel. That's all for today. Thank you once again for stopping in and taking a look at this video. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the library.